he made sure he had chairs for us on the monitor. We're watching Neil Young and killing it to 90,000 people in Denmark. And then during their encore, he whispers and he calls us behind the curtain.
Stop.
That's when he has a joint for all of us.
I'm a really firm believer that cannabis will turn into wine. I believe that once cannabis is able to grow in the same regions that, the soil that grapes are grown in, that we're going to have some really beautiful stuff in the future.
Make sure you know what you're getting. Don't just go buy something off the shelf. Ask questions. Always know what you're putting into your body and know the benefits of the things that you're putting into your body.
It's Reefer Madness, the podcast with Trevor and Kirk.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Reefer Madness, the podcast. It's Renee here back in the studio. Today's show is going to be a little different. Trevor and Kirk took a walk, took a stroll, meandered through the town of Dauphin, visiting places, and recorded their little excursion. So what we're going to do is we're going to eavesdrop on them, and here's a bunch of audio that they gathered on their walk, and we'll see the town of Dauphin through the eyes of a nurse and a pharmacist.
Kirk, we're walking.
We're walking.
So you're about to leave for whereabouts again?
Off to Barcelona on Tuesday. We got a really good flight. Brandon to Calgary to Barcelona, and we get there like 10 o'clock in the morning. So in the sense of jet lag, the hope is that I get at least 3 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep on the plane. It's a 9-hour plane ride.
And then for our potential next rounds of episodes, one of your first places you're planning on visiting in Barcelona is...
Yeah, there's a TH sound apparently. Our Airbnb, I Googled where it was, and in Spain, it's medical cannabis is legal, and they have cannabis clubs. So my goal is to, I've already done it. I've listed myself.
You're officially an international cannabis club member?
I guess so. There's online, there's a process, and identified myself as a Manitoban coming to Spain. And my job is to, I knock on the door and I ask for an individual by name, and I go in.
Is there a secret knock?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a secret knock or not, but there is a name I have to say hello to. So I've taken a page. I'm not taking my computer with me on this trip. We're traveling very minimum. So the thought is that we get in at 10 in the morning. We'll find our Airbnb, get ourselves situated, and then this club is in the neighborhood. Now, of course, I'm looking at a map.
Yeah,
and,
is this a walking neighborhood or
yeah,
Uber?
Well, I think so.
And honestly, I don't know. Is Uber a thing in Spain?
I don't know. I think I'm more of a walker. So I think what I would do is, I think it's within walking distance, because I kind of Google mapped it, and I think the walk is maybe 20 minutes. So Michelle and I will just go for a walk and knock on the door, ask for the individual, go in, get oriented, and then quickly identify myself and say, hey, what do you think? Can I get a story? And I'm hoping that they say sure. And if they don't, well, I guess I'll try some cannabis in a Spain medical club.
That's what I was just going to ask. Aside from getting us a story, which we always like, you sign up for, you get accepted as a member of this club, and what does that get you into a building where you can buy and consume cannabis?
Yes, that's my understanding, because there is a web page, and the web page has pictures, and it looks like a Bedouin tent village.
All right.
Because there's a lot of tapestries, and they actually list the cannabises. And again, I don't even know if I should be telling you which club I'm going to until I get there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but that's sort of what my thought is. And I mean, I don't know. I go into a club. I guess I'll try something, and walk home afterwards and then do our touristy things. There's things that Michelle wants to see. There's a big church, I guess, that's 120 years in the making, and it's still like 4 or 5 years away from being completed.
Cool.
Very famous church. Then from there we go to Madrid. Very quickly from Madrid we go down to Morocco, and the goal is to spend 3 to 4 weeks in Morocco.
So you said it a few times, but tell people what the Marrakesh Express and some of these cannabis-related areas of Morocco are all about.
Well, Tangiers is known for the beat poets and the beat novelists, and those guys got lost in Tangiers, and there's a lot of hi, hello. And but the northern part, the Mediterranean part of Morocco, what are they? The second largest exporter of hash in the world, first or second.
Okay.
And most of their hash goes to Northern Europe. So my goal is to eventually get to that part of Morocco. We are basically going on a trip with friends of ours. They've invited us to go on a trip, and it's their vacation. So Michelle and I are going to go on their vacation. They've planned out bed and breakfast in Tangiers, bed and breakfast in Marrakesh, and bed and breakfast on the seashore on the Atlantic Ocean. And they're there for 3 weeks, and when they leave Morocco, we're going to head towards the Mediterranean side of Morocco, get into Fez and the cannabis growing section.
Everyone there have a fancy hat?
Yeah, I think so. But there's that northern region on the mountains going into the Mediterranean that most of the cannabis fields are found. And Morocco is legal for medical cannabis and industrial cannabis. So that's probably what they're talking about is hemp.
Okay.
I'm thinking. So we're going to go there. And from there, Melilla, a small section of Spain, still is preserved on the African side of the Mediterranean. And from there, we'll go into back to Spain and try to pick up on some of the friends that we've met through the podcast and see if I can get some stories in Spain again. And then from there, we're now debating, do we go east or west? And so that's where we're at right now. So we're trying to figure out, once we get back to Spain, because I'd like to get to Gibraltar. I'd like to see Gibraltar. Michelle would like to go see Valencia. And then from Valencia, you can go to Mallorca. So there's all these names, eh? So that's sort of what the plan is.
That's very exciting. You know, just as you are leaving on your vacation, I'm coming back from 2 weeks off doing very little. You know?
Oh, you've had your 2-week summer vacation?
More or less, yeah.
Nice.
Did go fishing with some high school buddies. That was fun. Flying fishing northeastern Manitoba-ish. Hung out at the lake. Did very little.
Oh, look, the Bank of Montreal is cleaning things up.
They are.
It's
But
good.
yeah, I had a very, very low-key vacation, and now I get to go try and remember how to get up on time and not have afternoon naps as you guys are flying out over to that there Europe.
Yeah, so we haven't got our tickets home yet.
So you may never come back.
Well, no, we got to come back because we got a dog we have to tend to. The dog, you know, you can't just leave 6 weeks of food for a dog.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No, they'll consume it in the first day.
Consume it the first day, puke for the second, and then there's problems.
Yeah. So we got to get back in about 7 weeks, 8 weeks. And Blue Rodeo is playing in Brandon, so I want to go see Blue Rodeo. I'm trying to get a story from Blue Rodeo. They're known cannabis. Greg Keeler is very much a cannabis consumer. Same as Basil Donovan, the bass player.
But we did already get that Desiree Dorian's story up. That was excellent. That was
fun.
Not just she was a local and all those other good things, but
It was
I
just
thought
fun.
her and her band did a nice job sort of describing cannabis on the road as a musician.
Yeah. So we're just coming up to Payson's joint. You want to see if we can get a story out of Payson's joint?
Sure. How about we pause them and then see what we get?
Sure.
Kirk and I are now walking back. Now, before we got some nice stories at Payson's joint. Thank you for everybody there. But before that, Kirk, I don't know about you, but that was my first time watching a Hilti gun get used.
Yeah. We were just at Obsolete Brewing Company, which is our local micro brewer brewery, and they were building a fence, and we were
a pallet fence, and the silly people there asked for our opinion.
Yeah.
Because, the pharmacist and the nurse are eminently qualified to give construction advice.
Yeah.
And eminently qualified to say, yeah, I think that's how you use a Hilti gun. For those of you who haven't seen one, it has a literal 22 shell in it to drive a nail into concrete. We had no freaking idea, but no one got hurt, so that was fun to watch.
But you actually gave them the right idea.
Well, yeah, but 50-50 shot on that one.
You would have figured it out.
But we were just in Payson's joint and talking to some people there. I think the first person we talked to was Angelina.
Yeah, and she's brand new as a bud tender, but she has a background of owning a glass store. I never got too deep into what Portage La Prairie.
Yeah.
And she owned a glass pipe and a sex shop.
Yeah, I honestly, Angelina, I would have loved to seen your shop, but she had artisans come in and blow glass. She had some of them who made stoneware pipes, and it was also a combination sex shop. That would have been quite the shop to see.
Well, so this is her telling us about her shop. So let's go into it.
Okay.
So she goes in. This is Angelina, new bud tender, talking about her new job at Payson's Joint.
My name is Angelina, and I owned a little glass shop. It was actually a glass head shop as well as a sex shop. So it was kind of a little bit of everything.
Where was this?
This was in Portage La Prairie.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was wonderful, and it sold lots of beautiful pieces. We had a couple blowers that would come in and sell us their pieces as well. I had actually made a connection with an old feller that was actually trying to retire, and he did the stone pipes.
Okay.
He was part of a community of people that would, trade stones, and then he would make pipes out of them. And they were beautiful.
And so these were cannabis pipes or tobacco pipes?
They were cannabis pipes.
Okay.
Yeah, cannabis pipes. And we actually have a couple here. You can see those little black boxes.
Okay.
Very, very similar to those. So of all different kinds of crystals and rock, and they were just beautiful.
Nice.
And he ended up selling me his entire collection when he retired, and I was like, I will sell these. These
So
will
was
go
this
well.
pre-pandemic?
This was pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic hit. We tried staying open for quite a while, and we did well for a while because there was a lot of influx of money for people at that moment, when it first started. So we did well with, sales, but it just, after a few months, we just couldn't keep the doors open anymore.
So what brought you to cannabis? Now we understand you're new to being a bud tender.
Yes, I'm new to being a bud tender.
So tell me about that.
I have done it in the past. It was something I did a couple of years ago for another company. Just they needed some help, and I'm pretty well versed in the industry. I've been a smoker myself for over 20 years, and being that I sold all the paraphernalia, I knew quite a lot about it. So it was just made sense.
Cool. So how long have you been a bud tender?
Actually, I was only there for a couple months, and then I moved on with my life. I was doing something different full time. So when I moved out here, I'm actually in school full time. So
At the college?
I'm back in school again.
What do you take?
I'm finishing my counseling diploma.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm taking that in a trajectory that I'm looking forward to. It's still going to kind of be within the industry, but so far right now. So I just moved out here a couple months ago. I was like, I need a job.
Well, tell you what, here's a suggestion. You get your diploma in counseling and go look into some of the episodes we have with education and become a cannabis coach.
Yeah.
And you got yourself a new unregulated way to go, because your counseling diploma allows you to sort of go that route.
And it's kind of the way I want it. I want
Nice.
to move. I want to get into like the sexual trauma and counseling and coaching.
Oh, nice.
Because I've sold sex toys my entire life as well. Something I've done since I was 18, and something I really enjoy doing. So when I had this shop and it had both aspects of it, it was just my dream.
Pipes and sex stuff, it just sort of goes together, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It does. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
It can. So that's kind of where this has brought me. It brought me to Dauphin, and now I was like, I need a job, and I seen that they were hiring, so I came and spoke with Kimmy, and
So how long have you been in Payson's joint?
This is my second shift.
Oh, well, I'm glad that we introduced you to Reefer Medicine.
I'm glad you guys walked in.
I'm a nurse, he's a pharmacist, and we can talk about medical cannabis. Hello, thank you. So you can tell people about our podcast and answer medical questions that way.
You bet.
So we should let you go to work, but thank you for your story.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Now, as I shut the tape off, Trevor, she started talking about
Even more interesting stories.
about the sex side of her shop and how we need to research this. What was it? High on Love?
High on Love, and I can't remember if we got it on tape or not, but she's actually in school right now to be a counselor, and one of the things she's interested in is helping people, we'll call it sexual dysfunction, but some people have some trauma.
I don't know if it's sexual dysfunction,
Yeah,
but
right.
sexual education.
Sexual education.
Yeah.
But she's a very interesting person.
Yeah.
And then she started talking to Kirk a little bit about this High on Love.
High on Love, and so let's get into that. So you're just telling us about a cannabis sex related story. What was that?
There's a product out there called High on Love, and I do believe, now don't quote me on this, but I do believe they are out of Toronto.
Okay.
And they create sex products such as lubes, lotions, oils, bath oils, and they're all infused with CBD. Okay. So there's no THC,
just
there's
CBD.
no THC, it's just CBD.
So it's the anti-inflammatory side.
It's really for people that have difficulties having sex, essentially, or if you experience any kind of pain or anything like that. These CBD products are geared towards those types of individuals that are, looking to heighten their experience a little bit, not have the pain associated with it as well. So that was a big product. I still,
have to Google that one.
Hands down, High on Love. It's a beautiful, beautiful product.
Yeah, nothing like two older guys talking to a younger woman about,
Sex stuff.
Sex stuff, yeah. And thank God my professional side comes out every so often. But that was it.
Yes,
I was curious.
Angelina, that was great.
Yeah.
And then we cornered Mark, who you may or may not have seen before. He was actually featured in Kirk and I are trying to do some, what are we going to call them, PSAs, ads.
We're working on the 60-second cannabis consumer commercials.
Yeah, and Mark was a featured bud tender in one of those. So this one, we had him give us a story.
Yeah, we walked in and said, can you give us a cannabis story? And it's always interesting to walk in a cold call into a cannabis store and ask people for stories. And many times have we done road stories, and people can go back in our catalog and look at our road stories. But Mark, I just said, Mark, give us a cannabis story. Tell us about a customer. And he told us about this customer. So let's just go right into it. So what's the most popular product right now?
Our most popular product right now is a toss-up between some of our mid-range ounces and our 14 grams. Those have been selling pretty quickly as well. Greencraft cannabis also is really good.
Greencraft is selling well?
Yeah, Greencraft sells really well. They sell out constantly all of the time.
Yeah, is it because it's local people are buying, or it's good cannabis?
It's really good cannabis, and the fact that it is local, people really want to support the local businesses and shops like that. So when they're able to come to our store here, which is a locally owned store, and then buy some locally grown cannabis, it really helps them feel like they're contributing back to our community.
Cool.
And we really appreciate it because then we get to come to work every day. Greencraft gets to get growing their stuff and growing their own business and supporting jobs here in Dauphin. So we really appreciate that quite a lot.
So you were saying about 14 grams is the most popular. Is that the most popular weight that people buy, or what do you mean by?
Yeah, so 14 grams is a common, like, it's a half ounce.
Half ounce,
It's a half ounce because ounces in stores come in 28 grams. And then you can get 14s, 7s, 3.5s. Those are your common weights that you get in stores. And then you also get pre-rolls. But yeah, 14s have been pretty popular the last little while, I've noticed. And some of our mid-range 3.5s. Back 40 has been pretty popular. They're always up in there.
Now, Mark also, again, two stories from Mark, which was cool. You guys started talking about.
So I asked Mark for another. We turned off the tape recorder and we were just talking, and I said, "Buddy, that sounds like another story." So we got into packaging.
Yeah. So it's been sort of a bugaboo of yours for a bit about how much extra plastic comes with your cannabis now. So let's listen to Mark and packaging.
And packaging, is it less packaging now? Because in 2018 everything was in plastic. Is everything still in plastic?
A lot of stuff is in like these kind of like plastic aluminum sort of bags, or they're like a plastic.
The bags that adults can't get into.
Yeah, the adult proof bags that we can't get into. But yeah, the bag packaging has reduced in size. The ounces, a lot of them don't come in those big like 12-inch tall bags anymore.
What's an ounce look like?
An ounce will come in a small bag, maybe about 6 to 5 inches tall by 8 inches wide, maybe. Yeah. It's enough to squeeze the ounce in there, but without crushing the bud and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some bags, like some brands, big old bag of buds. That's kind of just like their thing is just like a big bag, but even they've reduced their stuff on a lot of other packaging has reduced in size.
Cool.
I do appreciate that some of our packaging now is able to come clear. So we're starting to get our 3.5s from Greencraft.
Okay.
Their Galactic Cake, we just got in the last 2 batches of it.
Can we see it? Let's have a look.
Yeah, we can really show you some clear stuff.
So we're going to go have a look at the packaging for for Greencraft, which is local, and is it in a clear bag or clear jar?
It comes in a clear jar.
Okay, so it's plastic. Oh, it's a jar.
It's a glass jar. It's
look
clear,
at that.
so now you can actually see what the flower looks like.
That's amazing. Oh, am I allowed to touch that? Okay. Yeah. Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Nice looking bud, eh?
Yeah, same with, we just got another one, 3D Genetics by They're Pure Michigan. It came in a clear bag as well. It's a 7 gram, and we can see that. Customers have been asking for years if we can get clear packaging, when are we going to get clear packaging, because they want to see what they're buying. Sure. That's super important to our customers, and it's important to us too, because then we can also make sure that the quality of the bud is up to what the customer is wanting. Some people are looking for big fluffy buds, some people like the smaller kind of dense buds. And it's hard to tell when all you can do is kind of give it a little shake.
Right.
And that's kind of...
And if you squeeze them, you're breaking the trichomes.
Yeah, and you don't want to squeeze the bags of them to feel like, you can give it a little touch to be like, it's soft, but you don't want to squeeze it to where you're compacting the buds and stuff like that. So it's really nice that packaging is starting to come clear. It's a big plus. I'm hoping for the pre-rolls for those to either start coming clear or for them to start labeling what style of roll they are on the packaging. Because a lot of people want cigarette style or they want cone style, the traditional style roll.
Yeah.
But the packaging doesn't really say, so we have to go online and look it up. But there's plenty of room on the packaging for them to put extra information on, which would be really great and pretty beneficial to both the tenders and the customers buying it. It would lead to a lot less confusion and a lot more happy turnout with customers for brands.
Very cool. So the most popular is still flower here in this shop? People are coming for flower?
It's a toss-up between the formats of cannabis. Yeah, flower is pretty popular. A lot of people pick up pre-rolls during the summer when they can go outside, but when you're stuck inside during the winter, a lot of people tend to pick up flower.
Interesting.
Or like extracts and stuff. Extracts and concentrates don't smell as much as cannabis does.
Right.
So a lot of people prefer to smoke those ones indoors because they don't have the same kind of skunky flower smell that cannabis leaves.
Okay.
But yeah, no, definitely. Pre-rolls get pretty popular during event seasons.
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that. Anytime we have anything going on in town, pre-rolls get pretty popular, but generally, our 3.5s, our 7 grams are popular.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very cool. So this is very cool that we're now getting the packaging, like in a Greencraft, again, plug to Payson's Joint, plug to Greencraft. These are local cannabis businesses in Dauphin, Manitoba, Canada, pretty much the center of the continent, and but they're doing clear packaging, so now you can look at the bud, and that's been one of my bugaboos. And it's not that I buy a lot of commercial weed, because I do grow my own, but one of my bugaboos has always been that you can't see the weed, you can't see the cannabis you're buying. When legalization first happened in 2018, a lot of stores had
sensory chambers.
Yeah, little things you can go look at and look at and this is what I want. But interesting enough, this story we just grabbed as I was walking. We were just coming back from Obsolete. We had a couple beers and we were meeting with the boys making the fence.
Yeah, but before we talk about chocolate fondue, you had one other guy in the store, one other anonymous, and if Kirk ever approaches you on the street and says, you want to give us a cannabis story, say yes, and you don't have to give your name, like this guy.
Yeah, this is anonymous. And this is us talking to Mark and Angelina and a customer said, hey, can you give me a story? And the guy gave us this story. And again, this is just an average guy buying weed in a cannabis store, and this is anonymous talking to us. I'm just sitting in Payson's joint talking to a customer, and I was just asking him about cannabis. And you consume recreational cannabis, or do you use it for medicine?
No, I use it for myself, and it's good stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
Actually, relaxation and everything. It just makes the body feel nice and relaxed and
So
stressful, whatever. It takes all that stuff away. Eh?
Yeah. Do you like your sativa or your indica? Do you care? What made you choose what you bought today?
They're all pretty much do the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it does make your body feel relaxed. And that's the good thing about it. Like especially with stress and anxiety and things like that. It's
all right.
Right
on, man.
Yeah, we're coming out of anonymous.
so
we're
now
walking by Payson's joint again. It's kind of like it's our second home there today.
Well, we just went and visited
Obsolete,
and we just visited Stephen and Ryan. They're building a pallet fence
with a Hilti gun.
And we're walking by, and Oliver, don't know him from Adam, is walking out of Payson's joint and says, hey, can you give me a story? And he gives me a story of chocolate fondue, and he thinks that maybe there is 2 different types of strains in his ounce that he bought.
2 or 3.
Yeah, which is, I have not heard that story before, so let's listen to that.
My name's Oliver.
Okay, and
when weed first became legal, I went to the weed store to buy something on the day it came legal, and the line was out into the parking lot, so I didn't want to wait in line, so I thought I'd come back the following day. And when I came back, all of the small packages, all of the 1 grams and the 8s and the quarters were all sold out, and all they had was ounces and half ounces.
Oh man.
The very best ounce, like the highest potency ounce they had, was this one called chocolate fondue. I had just come back from working in the territory, so I wasn't hurting for cash. They wanted $406 for this ounce. So I bought it. Like I said, I wasn't hurting for cash at the time. 3 months later, I ended up going back and buying that same ounce, and there was 3 different kinds of weed in there.
Oh, really?
In the same ounce.
That's Broken Coast, I think, did that, isn't it?
The thing about the chocolate fondue is after you would have a hoot, and when you would blow it out, at the tip of your tongue and right behind your 2 bottom front teeth, it would taste like you just had a sip of hot chocolate, or
interesting.
The bubbles, hence the name chocolate fondue. But after 3 months, like I said, I went back, I got another ounce, and there was 3 different kinds. And the way I knew it is I dumped the whole thing out when I got it at home. There was 3 different colors, and each color had a different taste, and only one the darker green color was the only one that had that original chocolate fondue taste.
So you're thinking that they package different strains into one
I think after a while, yeah. Like after the novelty of it all wears off. Back then, that was bouncing around between 24 and 29%. And after the novelty of it wears off, like, the lemon diesel or what was that other lemon one? There's another good one that started with the lemon there. And I noticed that after a couple months that not only did it not taste the same, but the potency wasn't the same.
And I remember chocolate fondue because I think it was also my first weed that I bought and I think it's Broken Coast.
Yeah, it was my first legal weed that I bought.
Yeah.
From the weed store.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Oliver. I appreciate that.
Right.
Cheers. Well, we're walking pretty fast.
Yeah, you're dragging me right along, making sure I get my steps in today.
So this is Reefer Madness, the podcast, on a day in Dauphin, walking around finding cannabis stories. I'm Kirk Nyquist. I'm the registered nurse.
I'm Trevor Schofield. I'm the pharmacist. Hopefully you can hear that over the traffic.
Oh yeah, well, we're walking down the street, man. And you can find us at Reefer Madness, the podcast, at reefermed.ca, and
on all of them their social medias at Reefer Madness.
I think my neighbor needs to cut the lawn.
Well, we're going to be good neighbors and not complain. And remember, if you listen to us, and you should, and you are right now, whatever podcast app you're using, leave us a review, say something nice. It really does help people find us.
Yeah, all right, cool. That was a nice walk, Trevor.
I think that worked well.
Check out the complete library of Reefer Madness episodes at reefermed.ca. And make sure to follow us on all the socials for bonus info on what Trevor and Kirk are up to.
Let's see what we do with this.